Hello, today we are here to discuss Sky Team. Prepare for landing. That's what the title says.
Yeah, that's what it says right there.
Yeah.
Prepare for landing.
So this was a Gen Con pickup. This is actually one of the hot sellers.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah. So before we get into that, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can follow along on all of our and little pop versions of us, or all of our adventures. So, Rob, what can you tell us about Sky Team?
So it is indeed a 2023 release. Overall rank is 5,706, but actually rated, it's got a good score of 8.4. It's a two-player game, ages 14 and up, and plays in about 15 minutes, which I think all of that's very accurate. Pretty quick game.
Goes faster even if you crash.
That's true. It's designed by Luc Ramond, I believe is how you pronounce it. Artists by Eric Hibler and Adrian Rivez. Published by Le Scorpion Mask. But I think it's also distributed by Hachette Games.
Yeah.
I think that's where you got it.
Yeah,
because they're the only ones. Well, there's multiple stores that's got it on pre-order, but they were the first one on Google. So it's the MSRP is $29.99. That's Hachette Moonshot, which I never heard of. Had it at the cheapest Moonshot Games at $23.99. But everybody else, Game Nerds, Hachette, a bunch of places, all had it for pre-order. $29.99, except for you really want this game really bad. You can spend $110 on Geek Market.
110, jeez.
Yep. Someone's selling it for $110.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's not $110.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what you get in the box. So you get a really cool-looking terminal.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just a piece of cardboard, but you have to build it. You have to fold it over them. They got little glue stick things.
Yeah, but it's
together.
It's inlay though because of it.
And then you get some little wooden planes. They look really cool. You get some dice in 2 different colors, but they're very basic, just numbers on them. You get some little coffee mugs in wooden shape because you can take coffee breaks while you're flying. So,
which is fine.
Yeah, because
that's okay.
You don't want to run out of coffee on a plane.
Right.
We've seen what happens
you don't
in
want the pilots
airplanes.
go to sleep.
That's right.
Yeah. You get the little cardboard chits that are little sliders.
Yeah, and you get an altimeter thing, or I don't know if it's an altimeter, but it's a doohickey that tells you
if you're level.
That thing. That's actually looks really cool.
It actually it's pretty neat.
And then just some little cardboard chits and such. You also get in the box some added expansions once you've landed your first plane.
Yeah, specifically, you cannot even look at it until you land successfully in Montreal.
So I'm not going to reveal it because I don't want to give up all the secrets. Right. But it's basically, once you play it, you go through new scenarios and it adds a bunch of new components to the game.
And the complexity.
Yeah. So while there's not a lot to this game, you do get these screens too. The screens work pretty well.
They do.
And they have inside them kind of the shorthand of how to play the game.
Almost feel like I'm playing Password, though.
Yeah.
And the password is...
Crash. All right. So, it's not got, really anything super spectacular, but the terminal looks cool. And
it's actually got a little bit of table presence.
Yeah,
it's neat looking.
For being as small as it is.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go ahead and give this one a 7 just because, there's not a lot to it, but it does, like you said, have a presence. It functions well, and I like the little wooden planes.
I was thinking 7 as well. I think that's a good score.
All right, so moving on to the theme. So this one, you are pilots and co-pilots of a plane.
Right.
And you are trying to successfully land the plane. Now,
which we did our second time.
Well, I did it the first time around with Miranda. I did it the second time around with you and Caleb. So, depends. I think that we see who the weakest links are. I'm just saying. So, it's a neat system that they've set up. It's basically rolling dice and you're trying to coordinate, but you can't communicate while you're playing, which we'll get into more of the gameplay. You can plan ahead, but you can't once you roll the dice. You've got to be silent, and you're triggering different actions that associate with landing a plane, and you have to try to do it in the right order, the right sequence, as far as and in coordination in some cases. So it's a really cool system they built for a 2-player game. I think it's hard to find a 2-player co-op game, and I think this one is pretty well designed for that. I think from a thematics that you feel like you're successfully playing the play. There's not any real stakes at the matter, but you can pretend like you're having conversations with the passengers to let them know that you're preparing to crash, which we did.
We did.
It's lots of fun from that perspective. So, it's you get what you put into it, really. Thematically, I'm probably going to give this a 7 as well, I think.
I think so too. I just really wish we had the emergency blow-up co-pilot. That'd be great.
Yes. So then the rule books, there's actually 2 in the box. The first one is the landing procedure. It looks like a what you would find on a plane.
On the seat in front of you.
So why you would want the passengers to have access to your landing procedures, I don't know, but it's cool that it looks like that. It's 12 pages in length.
Or you can go shopping in the Sky Mall.
Yeah. So, make sure you check for your exits. Yes. Now, I don't know if these seat cushions will work as flotation
I don't
devices.
think so. But I'm fat, so it'll work.
So, they have a nice preparation set up on how to build the terminal. And you do have to apply a sticker to the plastic. That's kind of annoying, but it's not a big deal as long as you get it right one time alignment. And then the setup and what you have to do prepare for each play of the game. And then, basically a walkthrough of the actions and the dice placement. Once you learn it, you probably never forget it because the player aid here is really functional for just remembering the basics of what you need. Yeah, I think that the rulebook is done nicely. I love the way it looks like one of the books from the plane. It functions really well. I'll probably go ahead and give this an 8.5. I think it's nicely done. And then on the back, there's some strategic advice on how you want to play the game.
Oh, not on how to land a plane.
No,
the game.
Yeah, the game.
Oh, okay,
there's nothing in here. You couldn't use this as an educational material for actually landing a plane. I'm pretty sure.
That's good.
Although I would love to go in and see the captain rolling dice to land the plane.
Don't do this at home.
Do not try. Think you're an expert and try to land planes after playing this game. It won't be the same.
It won't be the same thing.
Yeah. So the other book is the scenarios that you unlock. So this one you're not supposed to open until you've landed your first plane successfully.
Yes. Don't open it.
Yes. But I'm going to. So the flight log, basically is 8 pages in length, and this gives you new scenarios that are going to happen and new locations because your first flight is to Montreal. Why they felt bad and wanted to send you to crash into Montreal, I don't know.
It might be a Canadian game because
I'm thinking, why would
names.
You want to sacrifice Montreal to all these inexperienced pilots? But that's where the first one is, and then they have different locations for all the other flights. Oh, they got Storm one. That one looks menacing.
Ooh.
Conquer. Kuala Lumpur, and they got storms going on. So I don't know if it looks like they're going to add more dimensions, wind, and other stuff in here. Cool. Oh, that one looks bad. I'm not going to say what it is. It looks like you're going to run into some bad things in the future.
Some fuel issues.
So it's got it's good that
this is a bit of a campaign element
to it because the first scenario is not that difficult. Apparently, I think they said about 80% of the people will get a first try on the flight.
So what are you trying to say, Randy?
Well, we had Miranda and I successfully did it on the first try.
I know you said
so. It wasn't quite 80%. So you're dragging our average down, is what I'm saying, Rob. So
how to play the game.
So in this one, you're going to roll these. You got dice. You have 4 dice.
And I have 4 dice.
Yes, and they're 2 different colors, blue and orange. So the pilot has blue, the co-pilot has orange.
Guess who is the pilot?
So you have to have a lot more training to be the pilot, so you can hold blue dice.
It's the guy that always plays blue.
Yeah. So basically, on the terminal, they're color coded all the different things you can do, which makes it very convenient. I don't think they're that way on a plane.
I don't know that.
So all of the things the pilot can control are labeled in blue, and they're on the left side. So you would have this terminal sitting between you, and you would have they're color coded so that the colors that are relevant to the player are next to them.
Right.
and you start your flight in the clouds at 6,000 feet on this one. Now, I don't know if that's different with other scenarios.
In sky.
So the elevation basically is your turn marker. It's going
your
to time go down. And then the other one is how close you are to the terminal. Now, unfortunately, on the path to the terminal, there's a bunch of planes. So you have to radio ahead why the pilot and the co-pilot of the plane have to say,
you would think the people working at the airport would do that, but,
No, they leave it to the pilot
and the co-pilot. That would be as exciting as a board game.
Yeah, to call down and say, hey, could you please move your plane? I'm coming in.
I rolled a 2, so that means... that
it makes me nervous about getting on a real plane, if that's how it works. But you're going to roll, you have a planning phase where you can kind of strategize on what you're going to do before you roll the dice. Then you're both, once you've decided your strategy, you're going to roll your dice. And at that point, you can't talk anymore. So we're going to break that rule because it would be a very uninteresting video if we didn't talk. So you're going to play your dice. Now, there's you have 4 dice, but there's 2 locations that you have to cooperatively play on, which is one of them is balancing your plane. So at first you start out level in this scenario. It may change for other scenarios. And you're going to play a die to one side, and the other player doesn't have to play there right away, but at some point they have to play a die that tries to get as close to matching the number you have. So you can, okay, great, 3 and 3. So we stay level. If you had played a 5, it would skew towards the higher number, so it would have leaned 2 positions. If you ever go to the point where you're basically horizontal,
3 numbers or higher,
then you are going to crash, and the game ends immediately.
But if you do it at this stage, it's easy to reset.
Yeah, so you can have the other player then alternate the next time and play a high number and pull yourself back. All your passengers are going, whoa, whoa.
And that's exactly how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the other thing you can share and cooperate on is the speed at which you're flying in. So at the beginning of the game, you have a blue marker set to 4 and an orange marker set to 8. Now, those are adjustable based upon, because one of the things you have to do during the course of the game is put down your landing gear and control the flaps. The pilot's in charge of the landing gear, co-pilot's in charge of the flaps, which is going to reduce your speed coming in. So that's represented on here by moving up these levels, because if you get a number that's below the blue level, you don't move at all. You just hover. How a plane does that, I don't know. I'm presuming it would just collapse to the ground.
It just goes very slow.
Okay. It goes super slow.
Super slow.
And then if you get to the middle range, you move 1 space forward. If you get to the high range, you move 2 spaces forward. And that's the maximum you can move. So I'm going to, since we're early in the game, first thing, I want to get these planes out of our way.
Right.
So I'm going to play, I only have 1 position to do that. I'm a radio ahead, but you count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. At the 4th spot, I remove a plane.
Now, see, I got a 1, 4, and 6. So it wouldn't do me any good to do a 1 because there's nothing on the 1 spot. But, if I do a 4, that would remove the other one. But what's kind of nice is I get the opportunity to remove up to 2 planes. He can only do 1.
Right. So now the problem is we still have a plane in our path. Now it's on the 3rd spot, so we're not at risk this turn. So
assuming, because we can only move 2.
I'm going to play my 5 here. So now he knows my speed I'm planning, but we don't move until he plays his speed die.
So if I play a 1, that gives us 6, and that means we'd only move 1. But if I played a 6, it gives 11. That means we'd move 2. So I want to play my 1.
Okay, so we're going to move 1 space forward. You do that immediately upon both dice being played.
Right.
So now I have a 6 left over. I can't use it to get rid of a plane, which would have been nice, but instead I'm going to use it to control one of my flight gear, landing gear.
So what's cool about his is he can do his in any order.
Yeah.
But I have to do mine sequentially. So because I have a 6, I can't play on the 1 and 2, which I have to play first.
Yeah.
So pretty much all I can really do is take a coffee break, which the captain, I'm the co-pilot, I'm feeling a little tired. So I call back and say, hey, stewardess, Miranda.
Code Brown.
Yeah, I need... Oh, Code Brown. No, I think Code Brown needs something else.
Oh, okay.
I think I need a cup of coffee, and I get up and go get some.
Okay. So I got with my 6, I adjusted the flat, but I also increased the blue marker, so now it's harder for us to go faster. So we have a coffee. Now the coffee gives us a plus or minus if we choose to use it, where we can then alter one of our dice by 1 if needed.
Yep.
We also started the game with a reroll marker in this scenario. There's 2 in this scenario, so as we get to the 2000 elevation, we'll get another one of those markers. If at any point anybody decides to trigger, they take that marker, and then both players can choose to reroll any number of dice that they have behind their screen. So we got through the first round, and then this moves, and then we move the planes we already moved, so we move to the next, and then Rob is now first player, and we go through the whole scenario again, where we just explain what we kind of have that planning phase and then the rolling. And the goal is to get all of your flaps set on, and to have
your wheels.
The wheels are and the flaps, and then you have to get all the way to the terminal on the final turn, and have your speed be less than what your brakes number is. Which you don't have to have your brakes all the way out deployed, but you have to be less than the number. So last time we played, we were at 4 on brakes, but we managed to get our speed below 4, so that ended the game, and we were successful. So that's really all there is to the game, is just making sure all of that. That said, that is a lot to do, because it's very difficult, particularly balancing your plane and making sure you come in at a
not only that,
right angle.
It's especially with me, I'm really good at rolling the wrong dice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very luck based in that regard. But you do have that mitigation of the coffee breaks.
The coffee breaks and the re-rolls, which give you chances. You don't want to use them. You don't want to
go too early.
You want to make sure that you use them sparingly as you need them, because those things will be your lifesavers. And then, of course, the whole clearing out those planes can be tricky sometimes too.
You have to have that specific number to get to the spot you need.
Yeah. So, all in all, I think this is a really well-designed flight simulator game. It's very clever.
It's very clever.
And I can see why it was as popular as it was at Gen Con. I mean, it's a game that 2 people can easily learn, pick up, but yet it's going to be hard to master.
It's a fairly small box, so you could probably take it traveling with you pretty easily.
Yeah, you could easily. I don't know if I would feel comfortable taking it on a plane to play. I
don't think I'd play this game on the plane.
Yeah, that would be like, we crashed. Oh, that was a bad thing to say. Certain things you don't say on planes.
Right.
So, I think this was really well done.
I agree.
I'm probably going to give it a 7.5. I think it's a well-designed game, and it's a good 2-player game, which is hard to find co-op 2-player games. So for that, I think it deserves a 7.5.
Now, I'm going to score a little bit higher, because I'm a bigger fan of 2-player games, specifically designed 2-player games, than Randy is. So I'm actually going to give it an 8. And I'm definitely going to pre-order this game, because I think this will be a good game to add to my collection, so that when I have a friend come over, or I go to the shop. Now? I just have a couple.
Okay.
And so, or when I go to the shop and only one person shows up to play a game other than Warhammer 40K, I have something to bring out and play.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on Sky Team. So if you have had a chance to enjoy this, what did you think on it? Or if you had a chance to not enjoy it? Or
if you're jelly and you didn't get a copy of it yet.
Also, if you're planning a trip somewhere, let us know that too.
And if you get to play this on a plane, how'd it go?
I don't think you'll have much chance for that.
Just saying.
All right. So until next time, you keep flying and be safe.
Bye.
Bye.